Rumors say Trae Young would be open to a trade, and DeMarcus Cousins is cheering him on.
If I'm Trae Young, I'm getting out as soon as I can. The situation I'm afraid of with Trae Young is he'll remain there too long, and then all of a sudden he becomes the villain. He's the scapegoat. And I know how these organizations work. Once things start to crumble, once things start to fail, the blame game starts. It usually starts with the coach first, then it's the player's fault.
Oh, but I disagree, Boogie. A lot is on Trae, but the front office is much more to blame. They have completely failed Trae Young. That's why Matt Moore reports league sources have suggested that Trae Young's camp would be open if he's traded to pairing with Victor Wembanyama. Trae is open to that trade. Atlanta is such a miserable team. Trae is now flirting with Wemby. Did you hear him after the Spurs game the other night?
They use him a lot better in that second half, throwing it up to him. I mean, sometimes you feel for him. He has some open looks. Sometimes they don't get it to him.
Aha, he's basically saying, you know, if I was on your team, you'd get the ball all the time. I've got no problem with letting you shine, because you know how good Trae thinks Wemby can be?
He wants to work hard, so he has all the intangibles to be, the best player ever.
Oh, he wants to be the Scottie Pippen to Vic's Michael Jordan. Pair him up with the GOAT in San Antonio. Not good. I searched my name online and I found some pretty sensitive info that is actually too creepy for me to not blur out. Why? Because data brokers sell our information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who might target us. Our full name, email, home address, health records, your relatives, it's all out there. That's why I have been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Aura found 16 data brokers with my info that they are removing right now. It's really easy to set up, so I didn't have to download a bunch of different apps to get things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more. I got everything at one affordable price. Now, you may already have one or two of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. I value my privacy and yours, so you can go to aura.com/amhoops to start a 2-week free trial. Again, link in the description. That's aura.com/amhoops for 2 free weeks when you sign up. And speaking of San Antonio, you notice how Trae plays against the Spurs? Late November in SA, 45 points 14 times. His season high. Coincidence? Nope. Dropped a 36 piece with 13 assists in the rematch. It's like he's trying out for the team. But would they even want Trae Young? Well, the Spurs dynasty was a defensive dynasty. It's why people called them boring. They could score points, but D came first. To always have the number 1 or 2 defense, you gotta draft for D, make trades for it, but most of all, your stars must be awesome. Basically, Pop cares about defense. And Trae can try as hard as he wants. He's just not physically able to do it at a high level. But there is a chance that the NBA has changed. Offense is way more important than ever, and I can see a world where Trae Young is key to a championship. But no matter what happens, it will not happen this year. The Ringer says, I wouldn't expect Young and the Hawks to seek a trade ahead of next month's deadline. It's too soon. But if Atlanta's future doesn't look promising soon, the Hawks and Young may mutually decide it is best to part ways. So maybe DeMarcus Cousins is right. This is a random selection of stars who left their first team for success. If the team is bad enough, that star is gone after 7 seasons. And Trae is in his 6th season. But it is not all his fault. The Hawks hired a guy named Travis Schlenk to run their front office in 2017. He came from the Golden State Warriors, which explains why he dealt Luka for Trae on draft night. Schlenk thought Trae was the next Steph Curry to build around. Steph led all of college in points. Trae led in points and assists. In Trae's rookie season, he outperformed Steph in almost every category on fewer minutes, 2 years younger. Steph's rookie team had 26 wins, Trae's 29. So the mission was clear. Build around your star point guard. So Atlanta went to work in the draft, just like the Warriors. In 2019, a blockbuster trade up to 4th for DeAndre Hunter. Maybe a reach with Darius Garland at 5, but Hunter's defense was built for Trae Young. Then at 10, they took Cam Reddish, another wing defender. The youngest player in the draft, perfect for their patient approach. That year, Trae became an all-star starter, but the losing was getting to him. After dropping 11 of 13 games, he was emotional in the locker room. Shams reported, one high-ranking team official was seen telling Young that the team would be getting him some help on the roster soon. So that summer, with a ton of cap space, they abandoned their draft-slow approach. Atlanta signed Rajon Rondo, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Danilo Gallinari to huge contracts. But after a 14-20 start, they fired Coach Lloyd Pierce. Stories said Trae was the driving force, but it was the right move. They immediately went on an 8-game win streak, and by the end of the season, Atlanta was the 5 seed against the Knicks in round 1. In his first playoff game, Trae hit the game winner at MSG. He shushed the crowd, and Trae the villain was born. A fan even tried to spit on him during game 2, but it didn't faze Trae, dominating the rest of the series. They opened round 2 with another road win in Philly, but in game 7, the Hawks broke Ben Simmons, and he has never recovered. Ben missed crucial free throws games 4, 5, and 6, and was so afraid to go to the line, he passed up an open dunk with 3 minutes left. From there, Atlanta took over. With the crowd chanting F Trae Young, he hit a massive 3 to take the series. Now the Hawks were 1 round away from the finals. They once again won game 1 on the road against the Bucks, but in game 3, Trae stepped on a referee's foot, missed the next 2 games, and the Hawks lost the series. So Atlanta thought, if our star was healthy, we should have won. So that offseason, they paid everyone and ran it back. Trae got the max, John Collins 4 years, $125 million. But instead of improving, they took a huge step back. A big issue was the same old thing, defense. Atlanta was number 2 on offense, 26th on D. It turned out DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish were not the next Clay and Draymond. They lost in 5 to Miami, who held Trae to 15 miserable points a game. Something had to be done, but there was a huge fight in the front office. DeJounte Murray was available for trade, but the Spurs wanted 3 first-round picks. Their GM, Travis Schlenk, hated that idea, but the team owner said, I don't care. Get it done. So the entire time Trae has been there, they have jumped from plan to plan. Oh, first we're gonna draft. Oh no, we're gonna sign big names like Rajon Rondo. Oh no, now a splashy trade. It's exactly how these bad teams lose their stars. But first, they will deal DeJounte. And don't think a couple of game winners changes that.
Atlanta's ready to trade DeJounte Murray. They have given some time to the Trae Young, DeJounte Murray backcourt. I think they're ready to move on from it. They have talked to the Lakers. They've exchanged some ideas on a potential trade, but they're engaged with a lot of teams.
Like the Lakers, Knicks, Pistons, Spurs, and Bucks, to name a few. But if this trade doesn't work, and it won't, the next step is dealing Trae Young. When that happens, the Spurs are the perfect partner because they have Atlanta's first-round picks. If the Hawks are gonna blow it up, they need their picks back to benefit from losing. So while I don't think that Trae's defense is a great fit for San Antonio, the franchise, the Spurs are the #1 place I think he lands. But my favorite video I have done in a long time was GG Jackson. The kid torched the Warriors and had that viral moment with Shaq on live TV. Who is this kid? Well, it turns out he was once the #1 recruit in the country, but fell all the way late in the 2nd round. And the story of why will blow your mind.